This is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar for Monday, December 8th, 2025, which is Yom Sheni, second day of the week, the 18th day of Kislev, 5/7/86. The parsha of the week is Vayeshev, and the Daf Yomi for today is Zevachim 85, page 85, Zevachim. This is the Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar. "90 days. 80 days that you can see, 10 times 8. And 10 days, an invisible time period known as the 10-day twilight period. This 90-day period goes to a 90-day period, or a 3-month period, specified in the Torah, in the book of Exodus, chapter 2, concerning Moses, our teacher of blessed memory, and first Redeemer in the Exodus story. And it's written that during the edict of Pharaoh to kill all the baby boys, it says that his mother hid him, Moses' mother, that is. The Hebrew words are Vatitzbenehu Shlosha Yerachim. She hid him for 3 months. And she saw that she could no longer hide him, so she built a little ark, little basket, and sent him on the river, and then the rest of the story happened. But that 3-month period is a time in the Torah that said 3 months. Now, why is it 3 months? I'm not sure why, but if it was 3 months, then it must be something significant and something important, meaningful, and nothing less or nothing more than that. So this calendar marks that period of time, and there's 4 of them in a year. And that parallels to another thing that's 3 months. And this was called, and still is partially called, the Mercury calendar. I don't call it that as much because Mercury is associated with a Roman mythological deity, which I don't know if I wanted to associate with that so much, but Mercury is a planet. There's a planet called Mercury, as far as I know. Mercury, it's said to orbit the sun in exactly that amount of time. Well, close to that. 87 point something days. 87.969 or 96769. Something like that. But 969, 979. Something like that. Basically 88 days of our Earth days, which is like just about 3 months. So this had to do a lot with Mercury, and I'll explain what Mercury has to do with Moses. That Moses, it's written in the book of Exodus, I think it's chapter 7. When Moses went before Pharaoh with his brother Aaron, he was 80 years old. Right? 80 years old. So Moses was the messenger of God, right? He was a messenger. He was sent by God to do a mission to help redeem the children of Israel from Egypt. He was 80 years old. And this is 8 times 10. So there's 80 boxes here. 80 boxes. But Mercury, remember we said Mercury has 90 days, it's 88 days, but 80 is big here, but also it's 8 and 9. It was 80 and then 10 more. So you can say 80. But the atomic number of the chemical element mercury is 80. So that's very interesting. The chemical element mercury, I'm not sure what it has to do with the planet. Maybe it does. But the fact that its atomic number is 80 and it's associated with the same name, Mercury, the planet is associated with about 3 months, and Moses was hid for 3 months. and Moses was 80 when the redemption happened, we start to see like a correlation, kind of a circle here. And that's what this calendar really focuses on, these circles of numbers that you correlate ideas and you see them, they're all there. Moses definitely was 80, that's what it's written, he was 80. The atomic number of Mercury is 80. Mercury's orbit around the sun is 80. And so that's one idea of what this is based on. It's called the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar because it's 89. There's a reason for that. Number one, because it's 80 days and then an extra 10, which makes 90. So it separates. It's 8 and 9. It's 80 and 90. It's 89. But there's another reason why it's 89 as well. If any of you are familiar with the 72-letter name, which is also in the books of, it's derived from the book of Exodus. It's called the 72-letter name of God. And it's derived from 3 verses in the book of Exodus at the time right before, immediately preceding the splitting of the sea in Exodus chapter 14. Exodus chapter 14, it says that 3 verses from Vayisa Malach Elohim Haolech Lefnei Ha'am, etc. And Vayavo Bein Machaneim, okay? And then Vayet, and Moses lifted his hand. So the angel of God, who had been before the camp, came behind, and the Amud Hanan, the pillar of cloud, went behind the camp, between the Egyptians and the Israelites, and they didn't come in contact the whole night. Lo karazel ze kol layla. And then it says, Vayet Moshe et yado, Vayibaka hamayim, something like that. Ruach kadim aza, something like that. God made an eastern wind the whole night, kol layla. And Ruach kadim aza, strong eastern wind, and split the sea. It was going for the whole night, this wind. It's kind of interesting. It says that Moses lifted his hand, but the wind was going through the whole night, so it's kind of like going back and forth in time. That's a different question. It's maybe for a different time. But anyway, those 3 verses each verse contains exactly 72 letters. And so you take those 3 verses in Hebrew, the first verse, that is written forward, as it usually is, like from the first letter towards the end to the last letter, and then the middle verse you in reverse. It's the last letter first, and then just you're writing it backwards, and then the final verse is forward again. And the reason for that is in the more of the hidden meaning way of thinking and the inner dimension thought of Torah, the left way means it has to do with judgment. If it's reversed, it has to do with more strictness, severity. Whereas if it's forward, it's kindness. So it's kindness, and then you need strictness too. It can't just all be lovey-dovey all the time. Sometimes you need some structure, some stringency. And then the end is kindness. But there's another way of interpreting that where it's all kindness. So what I do is I do both, actually. I get the gematries of each name on both levels. And then I get the average value of each, and then the result is the average value of both of them. I call it the Tiferet, which is a sort of a blend of both of them, balancing, a fusion of them. So that's another reason why this is PL-89. Why? Because if you look at the 72 names, it looks exactly like this. It's 8 columns and 9 rows. 8 times 9 is 72. And so this is 8 columns and 10 rows. So I had no idea about the 72-letter name when I first made this. But over time I said, wait a minute, I started studying the 72-letter name. I said, it can fit right in here. So it's another reason why it's called the PL-89, because 8 times 9 is 72, And you can use, and I do use this actually, as a calendar to meditate on the 72 letter names, but going the other way. Goes like, Hebrew reads like this, and from right to left, but the other way goes from left to right. So I'm actually reading this calendar in both ways, just depending on what. Now, finally, usually I say that the days first, but today I explain some of the concepts first. So every day, it's both Hebrew and English calendar. So Hebrew, solar and lunar, Hebrew and Gregorian. So today is December the 8th. The 8th day of every month is going to be right here, box number 3. So the way the process is, 3, the coordinates are F, 5, 3. Okay. So when you say 3, you think like, what do you do with that 3? So you add 40. 40 is a big number in this. You add 443, 83, 123, 163. Okay. 203. 203 is the English grammar of artificial intelligence. I'm not sure what that's in today, but it is. 243, 283, etc., etc. Nothing really in particular so strong. Well, today's Monday, and 43 is 3. And 43 equals Mark. And Mark has a lot to do with Monday in this system. Mark is a Monday kind of a name. Andrea. Todd. Okay, that's 3, and then the 18th day of every month, which is the 18th of Kislev, if it was today, is right here, box 8, which is coordinates as H6. So you do the same thing: 8, 48, 88, 88. Well, I just spoke about 88 today. 88, the Mercury revolution. Which is, right now, is actually interesting because, you look online, you look for information, you never know what's true, what's not, but I read about this satellite that was launched in 2018. It's called the Bepi Colombo mission. It's not by NASA, it's from the Japanese Space Agency and the European Space Agency. And they launched this mission to Mercury, the planet Mercury that is, and it's set to complete this month, and this mission has been going for 7.5 or so years, which is very interesting because 7.5 is the period of the Dafyomi cycle as well. It's like the Siyama Shas, which happens every 7.5 years. So this it's not quite 7.5. It's almost. It's 7 and 4 months. See, October 20th of 2018 was when they launched it, and it's said to complete the mission December 25th of 2025. So it's finishing this month. And I don't know about your life or what you're seeing, but these past 7 years have been, this world has changed radically. And, we had Corona during this time. Think about that. I think most of us don't remember how unsettling it was during that time. Thank God it's over, but many things have changed drastically. So many fronts. Just think about the Corona thing and the cryptocurrency and all these different things with what's happening around the world, which is everything. I don't want to list any details, but I think you all know. But so we're definitely coming to a major end of this and maybe entering a new one. And I always like to think positive that it's going to something better, bigger and better. And so those are numbers of today. So it's 8 is 18th, and 3